Behold my stuff. So today, get settled in. I found something crazy at the liquor store. I went out to buy some wine to cook with tomorrow, and I saw Crown Royal chocolate. I don't necessarily like Canadian whiskey and Crown Royal. I haven't actually had a Canadian whiskey for probably, I don't know, 10 years at this point. But I just could not resist getting limited edition Crown Royal whiskey. Look at that. Oh, it's in a little brown bag instead of the purple. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. But we're going to try this on the channel today, obviously. There you go. That's kind of cool. You know, we'll try that in a minute. So anyway, y'all have seen me. Escuche. Y'all seen me, talk about hobbies a couple times on different videos and how it's healthy to have a hobby. At least one. You need at least one. As a man, as a human being, you got to have something that you like using up your time. Okay, I just got a text. It's using up your time in a way that maybe isn't productive, but is relaxing, or it could be productive. But really, it can be relaxing, or what they call type 2 fun, like hiking and working out, stuff like that. That's fun to a lot of people. It's fun to me. But it's something that really is just good for your mental health, because it's something that you just like doing, and you get progress out of it. It can be challenging mentally or physically. I started learning to play guitar in 2006 because Sam Goody went out of business. If y'all remember Sam Goody, it was a music store, and they had everything on clearance. And I'd never played a guitar, but they had a Fender Squier on the wall, and they had a Fender amp. And I said, what all do I need? And they said, you need the guitar, the amp, you need the wire or the cord, guitar cord, and a couple of picks. And I said, okay, cool, I want that. And I got it for really cheap. And then I went also at the same place, I bought a couple of Metallica guitar tab books. I got the Black Album and Master of Puppets guitar tab books. Never learned to play all those songs because they're hard. But I taught myself guitar, and also one of my best friends, his fiance at the time, who knew how to play guitar. I would go over to their place, and she would teach me some stuff. But that's how I learned to play guitar. And it was just, I got better and better and better, and then I stopped playing. I wish I would have kept playing, because I would have been so much better than I am now. I'm decent, but I think I'm good enough to be in a not technical band if I ever wanted to be in a band. But that's about it. I don't care to be perfect at it. Okay, I don't care to be amazing at it. It's just fun to me, sitting down playing guitar, coming up with riffs, and learning songs. That's fun. That's not my main hobby, though. My main hobby actually is cooking and writing. You see right there, that right there. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna screw it. I'll just self-promote. And I'm not going to talk about myself the whole time. I have an actual point. But yeah, one of my other hobbies was writing. Book. I wrote a whole book. How many people can you say wrote what is this, 475 pages or something? 95, 500 pages. 502 pages novel. Most people were never going to write a whole book. It just became a hobby. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. Why not? Video games, cooking. I cook on the channel. And trying different whiskeys and bourbons. That's a hobby. I have a humidifier over there with one cigar left in it. I felt like I would just try cigars out. Why not? And I've found that I'm not a smoker, but smoking a cigar is actually really relaxing if it's not hot outside. But I'll go out there, I'll sit on my balcony for the sunset or something, and just smoke a cigar and chill and just think about what I want to write about, or just relax, people watch, whatever. It's relaxing, man. That's why people do that. But really, I found this list. I didn't make this list, but it says 45 hobbies for men. Because if you're watching this and you don't have a hobby, you're probably wondering why you sit at home all the time and you're depressed and you hate life. It's because you don't have a hobby. Every single person that I know that constantly was down and acted like the world sucked, acted like everybody hated them, they didn't have a hobby. They didn't have a hobby. Get the fuck out of the house. Find something. You might not like the first thing you try, but all of this stuff, I discovered I liked it, so I started getting into it. First up, chess. Chess is actually pretty good. I have a chess set. I used to play chess a lot. I would even play chess by myself. But they call it the thinking man's game. It actually will help your mental toughness, your mental health, and also your tactfulness and strategic planning. That's a very masculine thing. So chess is a good one. Try chess out. It's not hard to learn. There's actually chess clubs in most major cities too. So you could just go play chess with the nerds. You'll find that those nerds are kind of cool sometimes. Really? Ham radio. Oh, look at this. I have everything. I just have everything. Well, I guess I gotta undo it. Whatever, I'm not doing all that. I have a ham radio. A little handheld ham radio that I got as part of my prepper stuff. But it's just a little walkie-talkie type ham radio. You have to have a license for a ham radio to actually use it. It's technically illegal. Most people aren't going to enforce it. But it is pretty cool. I haven't gotten into learning it as much as I want to. I keep forgetting, actually. But that's a pretty cool hobby. And it's also something that most people don't know. So if it ever comes down to it and somebody's just like, we need a ham radio operator. Boom. All right, yeah, I know how to do that. Everybody's going to look at you like you're the man. So cool. Reading. I got books. Reading is always good. Reading is good for everybody. It makes you smarter. It literally makes you smarter. I also obviously wrote a book, so I read enough to be able to write a book and it be good. Yeah, reading. Think about if you don't read much. Some people shame people for not reading a lot. I never do that because I don't read a lot. I don't. I write more than I read. And I would rather listen to an audiobook while I'm working. But yeah, I like this article actually says men today just don't read, but there couldn't be a manlier hobby. That goes back to what I was talking about in these last few videos, being informed and knowing what you're talking about and just being generally intelligent. The more you read, the better you're able to speak as well, because your vocabulary will expand and your grammar will be better and you won't sound like a fucking idiot when you try to talk to somebody. So absolutely, reading, looking, playing the guitar. And they got a picture of Johnny Cash up there. Playing guitar. I play guitar. I mean, I just talked about that. We don't even have to go into that. But music also in general, just any kind of anything, drums, violin, keyboard, piano, whatever. Music is a very powerful expression outlet for humanity. And it pisses me off that we're allowing AI to get a hold of some of that. Let's open up this here other hobby I have, which is whiskey. It's chocolate, man. I don't know if this is going to be good or bad, but we're going to do it. I'm going to keep going, though. This one's weird. The next one's kind of weird. Back to the guitar real quick. Learning songs that you love and finding out that they might actually be easy to play on a guitar will change your entire perspective on music. You'll start listening to music differently, and you'll find that sometimes when music's just playing, you'll start. I don't know. It's goofy and cheesy. I know. This one's weird. Ballroom dancing. I'm not going to say that's not masculine. I'm just going to say it's kind of weird and probably something you're not going to find very much of near where you live. I don't even know where I'd find that here at all. Ballroom dancing. I'm not. That's okay. If you want to do that, you do that. Woodworking. Now you're going to need some space for that one. You're going to need some space for woodworking, but that is fun. I actually did some of that in high school and in film school. And it was fun working with saws and crafting something with your bare hands. You find some boards and lumber and you turn it into a chair or a table. That's awesome. when you're finished with something like that that you built from your bare hands, I'm telling you, there's no other feeling like it in the world. So yeah, I like woodworking. That's a good one. That's a very good one. Gardening. Yeah, that's a very useful tool. If you know how to grow your own food, if something ever happened, shit hit the fan, and you had to like go out in the middle of nowhere and start farming, yeah, that's very useful. A lot of people think it's not a masculine thing to be able to grow food, but that's a survival skill, man. Any survival skill is very masculine, period. This one's expensive. Very expensive one here. Classic car restoration. But nobody's going to deny that you're manly as fuck if you restore like a 1967 fucking Mustang or those old... I see a lot of these old Volkswagen Beetles now. I really like those. Growing up, we had a junkyard full of them. But a lot of people are getting into restoring those now. But just, yeah, classic cars. I even like 80s and 90s cars are classic cars now. And I find a lot of 90s cars, if I had a garage, I would be buying up. Is the light on over there? Anyway, I would be buying up 90s cars to restore because you see them and they're run down a lot of the time, but it'll be like a 98 Skyline or something like that. And it's just cool, man. That's cool. Oh, it smells like chocolate. It smells like brownies. That's wild. But it's funny because it would smell like brownies, of course, because of what whiskey's made with, and then you put chocolate in there. Doesn't even smell like whiskey at all. It's not very strong either. It's 35%, so 70 proof. But yeah, let's see what this tastes like real quick. That is interesting. It's literally like liquid brownie. It's very sweet and chocolatey. I like it. I wouldn't choose to drink this very much, but I do like it. All right, so Crown Royal chocolate. I mean, if you like chocolate, get it. It's a limited edition. You probably won't be able to get it for very long. Moving on, metalworking. Same thing with woodworking, right? Here's one that I do a lot. Marksmanship. Going out and shooting guns and getting better at being a good shot with guns, being a safe gun owner, a responsible gun owner. It is very masculine. It's very manly. And you will feel good about yourself. You'll feel pretty, I guess powerful isn't the right word, but you'll feel confident in your abilities to defend yourself or just make a good shot the better you get. And I got pretty good at shooting while I was in the military, which is where most people would get good at shooting. But yeah, I don't know, just every time I go out on my AR out to the desert and I shoot, I'm still kind of like surprised that I'm as good a shot as I am. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn. It's just like I kind of forget. And then I go out and shoot and I'm like, man, God, that's fun. But yeah, most people are going to respect that you are a gun savvy person and a good marksman. Especially other men will. Maybe liberals won't because they're scared of guns and don't know how they work and they don't understand them at all. But you don't need to please people like that. Collecting. So do I collect anything? I don't think I do. Yeah, I don't really collect anything, but you know, whatever you want to collect. Some people collect Pokemon cards, collecting old stamps and posters and coins. Coins is a big one I see a lot of time. I guess I kind of collect bourbon, but I just end up drinking it. I only have like 4 at a time usually. But yeah, what are duck stamps? Baseball cards, that's a big one. Antique typewriters, people collect those. I guess they would. Yeah, just don't get carried away with it. It can be very expensive. Collector's items can get really expensive. Camping and backpacking. I do that. I talk about it all the time. That one's type 2 fun. It's going to get you out, touch grass. You're going to enjoy nature. You will appreciate the world more. You will appreciate the country that you live in more because this country is fucking beautiful if you go to the right places. Building ships and bottles. I guess you could buy that at Hobby Lobby. I mean, you can buy anything on Amazon. That seems like a really time-consuming thing, which is good for a hobby. So yeah, I'll say that. Hunting. A lot of men hunt. No, that's one of the most masculine hobbies you could have is hunting. I don't hunt because two things. I have hunted before and I did enjoy it, but also I don't have my own like deep freezer. I live in an apartment. There's a lot of hunting ground around here, and you can take deer to a processing facility where they'll dress it for you and just butcher it for you. You know, that's cool and all, but I don't know. I like animals too much to hurt them. You know, I have nothing against anyone who hunts. I respect anybody who hunts. I'll never talk down about it. I just personally don't really want to go because I do love animals too much. I take a gun out when I go hiking and that's for self-defense. But I don't want to go out and purposefully hurt animals. I just don't. Some people would call that feminine. They wouldn't say I'm masculine because of that. You don't think what you want. I don't really give a shit, but you know, I don't have to hunt. I can go to fucking Whole Foods. Fishing. I haven't been fishing in forever. Mostly because I get bored. But obviously I understand why everybody loves fishing. Like it's good with friends. I don't like going fishing alone. We'll say that. That one can be a little expensive too. But yeah, fishing's fun, especially with friends. And again, a great feeling when you catch a fish. Everybody's like, "Oh, he's got a fish! He's got a fish! Yeah!" And then you get to, you know, size up your fish with your other friends. Gay? No, just kidding. Whittling. I did this a lot in Boy Scouts just because we were always playing with knives. Whittling is kind of using a pocket knife to just shape like something. You can actually carve knife handles or little figurines. You know, that's a pretty manly hobby. Geocaching. I don't really know much about this one, but it's basically like treasure hunting for adults in the modern day. So yeah, geocaching. Look that one up. I'm not going to explain that one too much. There's one big one that we have here. Every year, almost here in Utah, somebody buries a bunch of cash money, like thousands of dollars, and then they'll give you hints online on a website. And a lot of people go out and try to search for it, try to find it. It'll be somewhere in Utah. Utah's a big state, but it'll be somewhere. Somebody always finds it. Somebody always ends up finding the treasure, and which is really fucking cool, by the way. But that's part of geocaching. Sports. And this isn't about like watching the NFL or watching the NBA or NASCAR. That's not a hobby. That's just you getting some entertainment. That's how I view video games. Video gaming isn't a hobby to me. That's just entertainment. It kind of borders on it, I guess. But sports, going out to a gym and playing basketball with friends, that is a hobby. Going flag football, getting into a community baseball league or rugby or soccer, something like that. Here they play pickleball a lot. That's a hobby. That's a good hobby. And also it's going to keep you in good shape, and it's going to give you a sense of community and camaraderie, and you're going to make friends, and you're going to just be happier. You will be very happy if you get out and play sports. And also here's another big one, is that physical activity boosts your testosterone level. So it literally makes you a better man. For just playing sports. I don't play sports, but I do go out, I work out, and I go running. So same concept, just without the extra people. Model building. I actually used to do this as a kid. I built airplane models. I had a lot of fun doing it. I loved airplanes. But yeah, that's another one. You can buy model kits anywhere, and it's fun to do. Leatherworking, craftsmanship. A lot of this is just craft skills. Bowling. I used to go bowling with a couple of my friends every single Sunday back in North Carolina, and we got really fucking good. We never joined a league, which is also back in the sport category. Joining a league, making friends, and playing and going bowling. Just if you go out and just get a pitcher of beer and bowl, it is one of the best times ever. And I'll say that for pool too, like playing pool. Archery, that's the same thing as shooting. We already covered some of that. Letter writing. There's a lost art of letter writing. Who are you going to write letters to? I guess you could just write letters to friends if you have their addresses. I'm not going to say that's not a weird hobby. It's just something I've never heard of. Nobody writes letters anymore. That's actually kind of cool, actually. Like if I got a letter from my friend, I'd be like, shit, man, you wrote me a letter. I'm going to write you a letter back. We'll be pen pals now. Martial arts. Martial arts is a big one. you look at the explosion of MMA now, like, and boxing. I want to get into boxing. I just don't have the time for it right now. But I do want to get into boxing. And I think that would get me in just insane shape. And I liked boxing when I was in Boy Scouts. I have a whole video about that. So yeah, that's easily labeled a masculine hobby. Hiking, which I've already talked about. They've come to me, the alcohol, cigar, or pipe smoking connoisseur. Hints of cocoa, slightly sweet. I'm never gonna be like that. I'll tell you, something tastes like whiskey if it's good, or sweet tastes like something else. That's about it. But yeah, I've been doing that on the channel since it started. The channel was originally called Whiskeys and Wisdom, which I like that name a lot, but I didn't want to drink for every video, so I changed it. Which I guess I could change it back. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mentioned pool. I mentioned pool before, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Mountaineering. I live in the mountains here. Mountaineering is dangerous. That's a dangerous one. That one's literally climbing mountains, like with ropes and special shoes and special equipment. That's not hiking. That is a tough one. I don't think I'll ever get into that, but I absolutely respect people that do it. Women and men do this a lot. Cooking. I already said that before. Cooking is a survival skill, so that's always going to be a good hobby to have. And also it impresses people. When you can cook good, pretty food, you can impress anybody, man. This is what I want to do. This is what I really want to do. I can't do it until I maybe own my own house one day, if ever, and have like a garage or an area where I can have the gear to do this. Blacksmithing. It is so fucking cool. Making swords and knives and stuff. That's just cool, man. One of my favorite TV shows, reality TV shows, is Forged in Fire. If you've never seen Forged in Fire, go find it. I think it's on Netflix. It is just amazing. They challenge these guys to make certain kinds of weapons and swords, like real weapons and swords, and they test them out. And I just fell in love with that show, and that's when I was like, I would love to get into blacksmithing so that I could just make swords, because what man doesn't like swords? Everybody loves swords. Flying, that one's expensive. Flying airplanes. Boating is also probably expensive. I don't know. I'm never going to get into that. But my uncle, when I was growing up, I had a kind of uncle that had a lot of money. He had a pilot's license. He owned a plane, and he did go flying. So that's pretty masculine. I gotta say, that's a hobby not a lot of people are going to have. Magic. Doing magic. This one actually showed up on that stupid list where women thought that was one of the worst hobbies a man could have was magic. Like magician stuff. I think it's cool. Everybody's going to think it's cool. Kids are going to fucking love it. I don't understand why a woman would think that that's not a masculine hobby. Because look, who are the most famous magicians you could ever think of? What women are going to come up on that list? It's David Copperfield. It's Chris Angel. It's David Blaine. And several others before you would even think of a female. Of course it's a masculine hobby because mostly men do that shit. Learning a foreign language. I guess that could be a hobby, sure. It's not going to hurt anything to learn more languages. I don't know if I ever will. I do like Japanese. I like Spanish. And I also like German and Russian. But I don't know if I'll ever learn to do those fluently. But it's a very useful skill, obviously for traveling. If you ever go to a country where you can speak the language, it's going to be pretty easy to get around. You might impress people. Playing cards, a lot of people do that already. Play poker, blackjack, stuff like that. Blogging, nobody blogs anymore. We all vlog. This is vlogging. This is what I'm doing. So I guess that's a hobby. YouTube. Paintball and airsoft, actually. A lot of guys do this. I played paintball in Boy Scouts a lot. I've never played airsoft. Airsoft is crazy. These guys, I think that they are under the delusion that they might actually be in the military. Because when you look at some airsoft stuff, it's like, you might as well just go ahead and start getting real guns, man. You can go, because It's indistinguishable. It looks like the real thing. And they go out and play airsoft and shoot each other. Now, obviously, you shouldn't do that with real guns. But I guess the thing is that you can gain some tactical knowledge, and it's probably good practice for squad-based warfare. Which I guess that's cool. But I'm not going to spend $700 on an airsoft AR-15. That is crazy to me. Fencing, swordsmanship. I don't know where I would do that here, but I'm going to say that's pretty cool if you know how to do it. And it's an Olympic sport. So you learn to do that, and you might get good enough to go to the Olympics. Is it still an Olympic sport? I don't know. Beer brewing. This one's really cool. This is a very manly thing, but I also know a lot of women that actually do this. Beer, mead, wine. Making wine is a little bit more intensive than that. But yeah, drawing and painting. I used to draw a lot. I don't paint anymore, but yeah, I can see that. Amateur astronomy. I mean, it sounds fun. I don't really, it sounds boring to me. But if you want to do that, you go ahead. Let's keep going. Adventure races, like the Spartan race, that's really cool. Nobody's going to call you any less of a man if you complete a fucking Spartan race or a triathlon or a marathon or something like that. This one's weird. Knitting. You want to knit, you go ahead. I'm not going to agree that that's a very masculine hobby. When I was a BPD girl, she started knitting, and she expected me to start knitting with her. She was pretty good at it, and she was actually making money selling stuff. But she was like, you should help me knit. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. No, that is not something I want to do at all. You want to do it, you go ahead. I'm not going to do that. The last one on this list is computer programming. That one's a very useful skill in the internet age. Obviously, knowing how to code and program can help you run your own gear, computers, but it also can get you a very, very lucrative job. And when you also talk about what I want to do, I don't know if I ever will do it, but cybersecurity also pays very well. And if I do end up joining the Air Force, which I've talked about before, Air National Guard, I'm going to go into cybersecurity, and I'm going to learn that, and then it will probably land me an insanely good job in the civilian sector. So, that's a perfectly good hobby to have. I'm not going to call that one specifically masculine, though, because I probably know more women that code than men. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing. If you're the kind of guy that wants to meet a woman at work, which I would never suggest, but if you want to do that and you want to work with women to see if you can find a wife who likes the same things you do, maybe you go ahead and go into coding. But yeah, for me, it's writing, video games, guitar, hiking and camping and shooting, whiskey, and cooking. Those are my hobbies. I think that's it. Yeah. And vinyl collecting. I collect vinyls. I just bought, what did I just buy? Oh, Rob Zombie, Hellbilly Deluxe. That's the one with Dracula, Living Dead Girl, and all that. And I bought one of the older Deftones albums. Vinyl collecting, man. Throw on a vinyl, clean your apartment. Throw on a vinyl, take a shower. Good stuff. This whiskey's good. Find a hobby. Have a good one.